The children laughed under the artificial sky of Luna 7. The orphanage dome was peaceful. Warm lights, safe fences, clean air. It was the only home they had ever known. No parents, no real sky. But still, they smiled. Milo, a small boy with black hair and big brown eyes, chased a glowing ball across the grass. His best friend Zara followed him, her silver boots making soft thuds as they ran. "Catch me if you can!" Milo shouted. Zara laughed. "Too slow, Milo!" Their caretaker, Dr. Alara, watched from a bench nearby. She was in her late 30s, kind eyes behind round glasses. She wore a light blue robe and held a tablet, scanning reports from Earth. There was nothing dangerous, nothing wrong, just another normal day. Inside the dome, music played. The staff cleaned and cooked. A teacher read books to younger kids in the learning room. Everything felt safe. Everyone believed the orphanage was beyond war. No one dared attack children, and that's why no one saw it coming. Far above the moon, in the black cold of space, an unknown ship appeared. It was large, dark, and silent. No calls, no lights, no warning. Earth's patrol station near Jupiter caught a faint signal but ignored it. It wasn't in a known language. Probably a rogue asteroid miner or a glitch. The ship moved slowly, like a predator. Luna 7's defense systems didn't activate. The moon was marked neutral civilian zone by galactic law. Every species agreed. No military, no violence, no war. The ship didn't care. Dr. Alara stood and called out, "All right, kids, time for lunch." Milo stopped running. 5 more minutes, please, she smiled. "Only 3. Suddenly the sky changed. The light dimmed. Then it flickered. Zara looked up. Why did the sun turn off? Alara frowned and looked at her tablet. A blank screen. No signal. A deep humming sound began. The ground shook. Boom, boom, boom. Then the sky above them cracked open. A blinding light filled the dome. Something fell from the sky. Something massive. A sound like thunder, fire, and metal screamed into their ears. The dome shattered. Glass exploded. Fire followed. Children screamed. Milo was thrown through the air. He hit the ground hard. His ears rang. He couldn't hear anything. Just a strange silence. He opened his eyes. Smoke everywhere. The grass was burning. A piece of metal had crushed the play tower. Zara. Where was Zara? Milo crawled. His hands burned. His face was cut. He found her shoe first, then her hand. She wasn't moving. "No," he whispered. "Wake up." He shook her. She was cold. Behind him, Alara ran through the flames, her face burned, her robe torn. "Get the children," she shouted. "Get them to the bunker." Another explosion. The orphanage building collapsed. A teacher tried to carry 2 children, but vanished under falling beams. It was chaos. Milo crawled to a stuffed bear lying in the ashes. It belonged to Zara. He hugged it close. A shadow moved above him. The ship hovered silently. No markings. No face. No voice. It just watched. Then, without sound, it flew away into the black sky. On Earth, alarms finally rang. The emergency broadcast center replayed the last camera footage from Luna 7 fire. Screams. Children covered in dust and blood. Then silence. The video ended with the sound of a small voice. Milo's. They killed everyone. They bombed the orphanage. Then static. The Council of Humanity gathered in New Geneva. High generals, fleet admirals, presidents. Everyone was silent. Admiral Riker stood in the center, hands behind his back. His eyes were locked on the hollow screen. Replaying the video again and again, he didn't blink. A young officer whispered, "Sir, we don't know who sent the ship. It might be a rogue faction. We should—" "No," Riker said. The officer stopped. Riker turned to the council. "We offered peace. We respected laws. We stayed out of their wars. But they bombed our children. They made their choice." The second president stood. "Admiral, what are you saying?" Riker looked her in the eyes. "I'm saying no more mercy. From this moment on, we go dark. We hunt. We burn. and we don't stop until every star that harbored them turns to ash. Back on Luna 7, Milo was one of the few still breathing. They pulled him from the rubble, still holding the bear. He looked up at the soldier and whispered, "Make them pay." The soldier nodded, tears in his eyes. The grave of Luna 7 became the beginning of something far greater. Humanity would no longer wait. Now, it would strike. And the stars would never be safe again. The moon was still burning. Luna 7, once full of laughter and children's voices, had become a black mark in space. Fires had died, but the silence was louder now. The bodies had been collected. The broken pieces of toys and dreams were buried under ash and metal. Earth's people cried, all across the human colonies. On Mars, Europa, Ceres, screens showed the same pictures. The destroyed orphanage, the silent crater, the burnt teddy, bear in Milo's hands. But on Earth, something else was happening. The cities went quiet. The news stopped. Ships were recalled. Satellites went dark. It was as if Earth had held its breath, and then closed its fists. In New Geneva, the council gathered again. But this time, no debates, no talks, no peace meetings. Admiral Riker walked in without a word. He placed a black box on the table. A red light blinked on top. "We call it Project Ashlight," he said. The leaders stared at him. Riker looked at them, his face hard. "We always knew there would be a day when we would need to stop being kind." He pressed the button. Across the solar system, hidden weapons came online. Black ships lifted from underground bunkers. AI war systems activated. Silent missiles armed. Project Ashlight had begun. At the outer edge of human space, a station near Saturn received a strange signal. A message from the Zarn Collective, one of the oldest alien groups in the galaxy. Pirates, traitors, sometimes killers. The message was short. "We had no hand in Luna 7, but we accept your warning." The message ended with their flag lowered, but Earth didn't answer. Riker had already sent a team, Ghost Unit 9, to wipe out 3 Zarn outposts. No warning, no trial, only fire. Back in the hospital, Milo sat beside his bed, staring at the stars through the window. He didn't speak much. He held Zara's bear tightly in his arms. Dr. Alara, burned but alive, sat with him. "They're going to fight. Back now," she said softly. Milo nodded. "They have to." She looked at him. "But do you understand what that means?" He turned to her. "Yes. It means they won't do this to anyone else again." Outside, Riker watched from the glass. He didn't knock. He had no time for rest. In space, Earth's ships changed course, no longer defensive, no longer peaceful. They started moving toward Varnock 3, a planet known to support the Zarn. It had trade, stations, fuel posts, and a rich population. They didn't expect an attack. After all, Earth had never attacked first, until now. In the Alien Galaxy Council, panic spread. The bombing of Luna 7 had been wrong, but no one thought Earth would react like this. "They've gone mad," one diplomat shouted. "They lost children," another replied. "But we didn't do it." Then who did? No one had answers. But Earth wasn't waiting for them to find one. One by one, embassies lost contact with Earth. Human diplomats disappeared. Peace lines were cut. The humans had gone completely silent. And that silence was far more dangerous than any threat. Admiral Riker stood on the bridge of the Hellborn, Earth's deadliest warship. He looked at the screen. Varnock 3 was just 2 jumps away. "Any response?" he asked. His officer replied, "None, sir. They still think we're coming to talk." Riker gave a short nod. "Then let's not disappoint them." The Hellborn's engines roared to life. In the darkness of space, it vanished. On Varnock 3, people danced in clubs. Children played in schools. Merchants counted money in glowing shops. No one knew they had less than 6 hours to live. Back on Luna 7, Milo drew pictures on the wall with his finger. He wasn't drawing stars anymore. He was drawing fire. And in the middle of the flames, he drew something else. A human soldier, standing alone, with eyes that glowed red, and the words above it read, "No more mercy." Varnock 3 was a beautiful world. Forests stretched for miles. Skyways floated above glowing cities. The Zarn people lived busy, colorful lives, trading, farming, teaching, dancing. No one had prepared for war. They believed Earth would follow. Rules, like always. But the new Earth followed no one. At 0327 planetary time, the sky cracked open. No warning, no message. The first Earth warship appeared like a shadow from hell. Then 6 more followed. No lights, no sound, just death. Admiral Riker stood on the bridge of the Hellborn, watching in silence. "Are the targets marked?" he asked. The weapons officer nodded. "Trade center, orbit station, power hub, military yard." Riker gave one order. "Ash. Them." In one moment, the sky turned into fire. On Varnock 3, people looked up and screamed. White beams of heat struck buildings, melted streets, and tore ships apart. Thousands died in the first minute. Entire districts vanished. Shields tried to activate, but Earth's tech had changed. The beams passed through like they weren't even there. One Zarn commander sent a message. "Earth, stop. We didn't bomb. The orphanage. We can talk." But Earth didn't reply. They didn't need to. The fire was the answer. At the Galactic Council, the attack hit like a shockwave. "Earth is bombing a full civilian world," a Gorn ambassador shouted. "They've gone insane. They are doing exactly what was done to them. But it wasn't us. They don't care anymore." On Earth, the people watched in silence. No cheers, no music, only stillness. The video feeds showed everything. Buildings crumbling, ships falling, Zarn civilians running, and in the center of it all was the Earth flag, burning in the sky. Milo sat in a chair at the recovery center, watching the footage with wide eyes. He didn't smile. He didn't cry. He whispered, "That's what they felt when they killed Zara." Next to him, Dr. Alara lowered her head. "I don't know if this will make the pain stop." He didn't answer. After the third strike, Varnock 3 was silent. Survivors screamed from the underground bunkers. The skies were full of smoke. The rivers turned black. The stars above looked cold and distant. And then the ghost units landed. They moved through the ash like shadows. No words, no delay. They cleared every Zarn base. They didn't take prisoners. They left only fire behind. And on the last strike zone, they placed a metal plaque, a human handprint. Under it were 5 words, Luna 7. Never again. Ever. Far away, in a hidden system, the real attackers watched. They were not Zarn. They were not even part of the known council. Their faces were covered in bone armor. Their ships were made of black steel. They had no name. No map showed their worlds. They had bombed Luna 7 for one reason: to see if Earth was weak. Now they knew. Earth was not weak. Earth was something else now, and it was coming. In New Geneva, the council asked Riker one question. "Is this just the beginning?" Riker answered without blinking. "No, this is the warning." He turned to his generals. "Prepare Phase 2. Every station that didn't speak for us is no longer safe." In the dark, Earth's factories built weapons not seen in 100 years. AI-controlled ships, planet burrowers, sun-kill bombs. The galaxy had called them too soft. Now they would feel the fire they lit. The stars, once filled with music, now echoed with fear. And wherever the story of Varnock 3 spread, so did the name of the child whose tears started it all. Milo, the boy from Luna 7, the one who had nothing left but rage. And behind him stood 10 billion humans who felt the same. The fires of Varnock 3 were still burning when the stars began to whisper a name no one dared say aloud. The Drawl. They were myths, old stories, creatures from beyond the known galaxy. Some said they were extinct, others said they lived in black zones, places without suns where no signals escaped. No one had seen them in centuries. But now, Earth knew better. The Drawl had bombed Luna 7. Not for power, not for territory, for fun. In a deep space lab hidden in Saturn's rings, Earth's best minds decoded fragments from the orphanage's destroyed satellite. In one short video just before the attack, a ship's image flashed for half a second. No known species, no ID code. But its bone-armored design matched only one ancient database entry. The Drawl Admiral Riker watched the footage 10 times. He turned to his science officer. "Are you sure?" The man nodded. "Yes, sir. The ones who did this were not part of our galaxy." Riker's jaw tightened. "Then we'll go beyond it." A new mission was born. Operation Iron Grave. The goal was clear. Find the Drawl, track every system they've touched, and erase them, completely. Riker called the ghost units. "You're not soldiers now, you're hunters." The ghosts didn't speak. They only nodded, then they vanished into the void. Meanwhile, the Drawl were watching Earth. In their shadow world, cold and quiet, their leaders sat in a black council chamber. No walls, just floating stone under a red sky. A figure stepped forward, bone skin, glowing eyes. "They reacted faster than we expected," he growled. Another answered, "And harder. They didn't wait to find us. They burned everyone." "They've become dangerous," the leader hissed. "Good. Then the game will be more fun." But Earth was not playing anymore. Across the stars, human warships began appearing in places they'd never entered before. Neutral systems, pirate zones, even Drawl-linked black markets. The humans moved like ghosts. One moment, the Drawl's hidden allies were laughing. The next moment, they were ashes. At a deep space listening post, Ghost, Unit 7 found something. A ship, half broken, drifting near a dead moon. No crew. But inside, one message was carved into the wall with a burning blade. "Children are the softest targets." Captain Rhea of Ghost Unit 7 read the words. Her face turned cold. She called Riker directly. "We found proof. They did it. The Drawl bragged about it." Riker's voice came through clear. "Then bury them." Back on Earth, Milo watched every mission report. He didn't cry anymore. He learned names. He memorized ship IDs. He read every file about the Drawl. And one day, he stood in front of a recruiting officer. "I want to join the Ghosts." The officer looked at his file. "You're 13. Milo's eyes didn't blink. "I've already seen more war than most soldiers." Behind him stood Dr. Alara. She didn't try to stop him. Instead, she said, "Let him train. But make sure he learns to survive." In the dark between galaxies, Earth sent its first Black Fleet into unknown space. No map, no backup. Just rage and technology. They found a Drawl colony floating in an asteroid belt. No one expected them to reach that far. The Drawl laughed. Until the first Sunkill bomb dropped. The colony was vaporized in 1 second. The asteroid belt cracked open like glass, and Earth left a message behind in orbit, carved into a steel block. "We saw your shadows. Now see our fire." The galaxy was changing. Once, humans were builders, talkers, diplomats. Now, they were hunters. And every planet that had ever whispered about Earth's weakness went quiet, because they knew. This was only the beginning, and the graveyard Earth was building in the stars was far from full. The edge of known space was marked by silence. No planets, no lights, no life, just endless black. That place had a name in old star charts, the Maw, a dead zone where no ship returned. The Drawl used it as a shield. Even the bravest alien fleets stayed away. But Earth didn't stop. The Black Fleet crossed into the Maw. No fear, no hesitation. Inside those shadows, the real hunt began. Admiral Riker stood on the bridge of the Hellborn, watching the strange data scroll across his screen. "There. Our signals," the tech officer said. "But they're not natural. It's like the space itself is alive." Riker stared out into the dark. "Then we burn it alive." The fleet moved deeper. Behind them, communication lines were cut. No contact with Earth. They were alone. Far behind, on Titan's moon, Milo's training had begun. He wasn't treated like a child anymore. He ran with elite ghosts through storm ice. He trained blindfolded inside spinning zero-gravity chambers. He held a rifle larger than his arm, breathing in silence as targets popped up and vanished. One officer asked, "Why do you keep going? You're just a kid." Milo answered, "Because they took the only family I had." Now, I'll take everything they have. The ghosts didn't laugh. They saluted him. Inside the maw, Earth's fleet found strange ruins. Gigantic bones floated between broken planets. Ships made of bone metal drifted silently. Drawl wore relics from long-dead battles. But the strangest was a signal, repeating over and over again in human language. Your mercy was weakness. Your children were the price. Riker heard it. He didn't speak. He opened the fire channel, and the Hellborn fired a full broadside at the ruins. The bones shattered. The voice stopped. At that moment, in a hidden Drawl world, their leaders sat in panic. They should not be here, one growled. They were not supposed to survive the maw. They were not supposed to find our core worlds. They were not supposed to fight like monsters. One Drawl slammed its claw into the wall. We wanted to test them. We wanted to break their peace. A silent elder spoke at last. Instead, we awakened something worse than war. The Mayhem. Black Fleet moved through the graveyard of old Drawl ships. No one dared slow down. On a dead moon called Urxis, they landed. And what they found was worse than they imagined. Underground cages, skeletons, children. Not just human, but alien too. Experiments. One human officer threw up, another screamed, but Riker just stared. So this is what they do to the weak. He walked through the tunnels and left a beacon behind. Not to be rescued, but to warn all others. This world is dead. So is every Drawl soul connected to it. Back on Titan, Milo was told about Urxis. He didn't speak. That night, he painted the walls of the training room with a small symbol, a child holding a flame. Underneath it, he wrote, "Light the stars with fire." Then something happened. The Drawl attacked Earth's outpost on Europa. They sent stealth drones, silent, fast, and filled with poison. Hundreds died in the first minute. But Earth didn't flinch. Within 2 hours, Riker sent 10 ships back towards Drawl space. The message was simple. This is what you wanted. Now choke on it. And so, across the galaxy, the war became something new. Not just revenge, not just survival. Now it was a hunt for justice. Earth wouldn't stop at one victory. They wanted every shadow cleared, and wherever they went, they left. Behind only one thing, graves, and a message burned into steel. For Luna 7, for the children, for the fire you lit. The Drawl core world was hidden inside a dying red star system. It had no name in any database. Its sky burned with ash. Giant towers made of bone metal rose from black soil. This place was their capital. They called it D'Karun. No alien species had ever found it until now. A ripple passed through the stars as the Black Fleet arrived. Earth's largest ships, the fastest destroyers, the ghost units, and one boy, standing on the deck of a stealth cruiser, Milo. His face was calm. His hands were steady. His eyes full of fire. Admiral Riker stood on the bridge of the Hellborn, watching the planet on the screen. His officers waited. Riker spoke 5 words. Open the skies of hell. And Earth obeyed. The first strike shattered D'Karun's orbital ring. Explosions tore across the planet's surface. The Drawl defenses fired back, but Earth's tech had evolved far beyond. New stealth torpedoes, AI-piloted. Hunter drones, sun-piercer cannons. The sky screamed, and in the smoke, the ghost units dropped. Milo moved with them, helmet on, rifle in hand. He ran across the battlefield of bones, heart pounding. Around him, the ghosts advanced without fear. Explosions rocked the ground. Drawl soldiers charged in waves, but Earth's fire was stronger. Milo took cover behind a cracked pillar. His first shot dropped a Drawl scout. He didn't stop to breathe. He kept moving. He was no longer a boy. He was part of the storm. Inside the Drawl citadel, the High Council screamed, "They've come here? To our heart? We are the oldest. We are the strongest." But their voices shook because they heard something coming. Not machines, not bombs, footsteps. And then, the door exploded. Admiral Riker entered with 10 ghosts behind him. He didn't shout. He didn't shoot. He looked the Drawl leaders in the eyes and said, "This is not a war. This is your sentence." One Drawl tried to beg. "We didn't mean to start this." Riker's face turned cold. You bombed children. At the same time, Milo and his team cleared the underground vaults. What they found were not weapons, they were recordings of Luna 7, of the bombing, of Draal commanders laughing, of orders given, proof. Milo stared at the last recording, a Draal officer, pointing at Earth and saying, "Break their heart, and they'll never fight." Milo whispered, "Wrong." He uploaded the files. Within minutes, all of Earth and the galaxy saw the truth. The Draal weren't warriors. They were monsters. By the end of the day, D'Karun was silent. Every tower fallen, every lab destroyed. The sky no longer burned. It was cold and black. The ghost units planted one final beacon in the center of the Draal capital. A child's handprint. Under it were the words, "For Luna 7, for peace born in fire." Back on Earth, Milo walked into a quiet garden on the ruins of the orphanage. Dr. Alara stood waiting. She asked, "Did it help?" Milo didn't smile, but he nodded. "They'll never hurt anyone again." The galaxy watched with wide eyes. Earth had changed. They had become something terrifying, something righteous. Not because they wanted war, but because they remembered the faces of lost children. They remembered what peace cost, and they were ready to protect it, with fire if needed. From that day forward, one truth echoed across the stars. You can hurt a planet, you can break their systems, but if you hurt their children, you awaken the storm, and Earth was the storm now, forever.